I hope that we all enjoy both films. And we just agreed on that at the beginning I would like to encourage you for questions, because I think that we are all full of emotions. And then we will turn into the lesson. So is there any question for the beginning?
Dobrý den. Tak já bych chtěl na úvod říct, že ty filmy se mi moc líbily, že byly poetický a moc hezky udělaný. A chtěl bych se zeptat, jestli jste zůstali v kontaktu s těmi domácími lidmi, jak na Sibiři, tak v té Argentíně, a jak se jim daří dnes. A hlavně by mě zajímalo, jestli se některým těm sibiřským dětem podařilo splnit jejich sen, odejít do Polska nebo studovat v Polsku.
With Siberian kids, they're adults already, of course. 6 of them passed the exams to study in Poland, and I think three girls stayed till the end of the studies, and we kept the contact in Poland. And then after studies, they moved to Russia and Ukraine to work. They found a good job, and we sometimes we have the contact with the priest. He's in Kaliningrad now, and yeah, but we never return to this place. Maybe one day we should go there. And of course, the more close to we are with the Marcia from Argentina, and she already visited Poland twice. And we helped her to get the Polish passport, and the plan is to find her some kind of grant to study in Poland in the future, in a few years, in fact. And she will visit us again in January and February this next year.
For the second film, Argentinian Lesson, how did you? I mean, obviously, like at first, the focus was on your son, and then the focus shifted to Marcia. Did the story evolve? I mean, how was the process of constructing the story before the editing room and after the editing, or during the editing?
To be honest, it was extremely difficult to make this film, because from the one hand it was pleasure to be there in 2 years and to have the camera and negative and just observing and waiting, but from the other hand. It was already, people started to shoot on Canons, digital and cheap cameras, and I was thinking maybe to take one of these cameras with me and just catch some extra stuff, because interesting dialogues, interesting situations are passing. But thanks God, I decided not to mix the footage, but during first few months I had very few footage. In fact, very few scenes. So the story was developing during quite a long time. In the beginning, I had our trip to Argentina and first days in the school and first days in lessons of Gosia and some meetings with these pupils, and that was all. And I wasn't sure where I go with this film. In the beginning, I thought the Janek will find a friend, a boy. Of course, they will play football. I don't know, some boy stuff. But suddenly we realized, after I think 2 or 3 months, that Marcia is the closest girl to us, yeah, because she was one of the kind of abandoned child in this village. She had a lot of time to go to the Polish courses and to visit our home, and she was like everywhere in the same time, you know. She was this kind of girl. She's in few places in the same time, just everywhere you see Marcia. And yes, it wasn't like, wow, this is the idea. Marcia will be our character, main character. But it was slowly process to understand that she will be in this film. And when I recognized her story, family story, it wasn't from the beginning. Yeah, we were quite sure that this is very difficult situation, and maybe and in the beginning we started to help her, because when we met her older sister, she was 14, and she left house to live with the older guy, like 30 few years, who came to work in this village, and she, like a 14 years girl, left home and left school to be with this guy. So we started to somehow to try to take her back. And first time we called to Marcia's father. Then we realized that what troubles are, what kind of problems are in this family. And we met father also because he was like once a year or sometimes twice a year visiting this village for a few days, and he was mainly concerning on the old car, not on the children and wife. And yeah, it started like this, and then we knew already that after these months that we will follow Marcia and Janek's friendship, and we were waiting for events, you know.
You didn't push any events. You didn't arrange any events.
I didn't arrange. I was observing and waiting for some. I knew what will happen because there were many routines, you know, like everyday routines. So I was just preparing and even talk with Marcia. Okay, tomorrow we'll see when you go to work with the bricks, or on Thursday we go to cut bamboos, or you know, it was like this. And for example, the scene with the medicine for her mother, it was everyday situation. So first I came and at this time to her house and just watching, talking with her, and I was prepared how it. I knew how it is. So when she did it, she did it like normally, but I knew what will happen, so I could be prepared, and with the camera hide. I was hiding with the camera that the mother couldn't see me. So it was mostly like this, that I couldn't arrange. Sometimes I push them, let's play to more, let's follow this, or okay, or let's change the place because there's better background or something like this. But generally I was following their ideas.
Was there any script before both films? Or how present such a film to the producers?
I had a script, of course, but it was like 1.5 pages each, and it was describing of the situation. That the Siberian Lesson, it was like young girl is finishing the studies in Poland, and she's going to teach, to work in Siberia, and she will go to this town. Probably she will have few groups of people, children, adults, but you cannot create more. And in the script of Argentinian Lesson, I was describing that probably Janek will find the friend, the boy, probably they will play football, and I will follow this football team, and some, you know, events, and it was like I was trying to imagine what can happen, and I was describing the few potential situation like this. But of course, the life is more interesting if we have time and if we are patient and just we are in the place waiting. So the life gives you the gifts.
How did you get so close to the children? They felt so natural, you know. Do you bother them sometimes with your camera? You are always so close.
You know, with the children, in fact, it's easier than once they accept you, they forget about you. So in the beginning, of course, they ask, well, where the camera is here, but then they realize that you are like this. You are with the camera. This is your normal work, normal behavior. That you are looking for the takes, for the positions, and also for Janek, I think because he was my son, so it was more complicated sometimes because he could stop just saying no. For example, it wasn't possible to record the voiceover with Janek. Sometimes I try to just ask him what he feels, what he saw, and nothing. Just so I couldn't record any emotional, let's say, speech. But with the camera, it was easier because they saw me also with the troubles. I mean, working with the camera, you know, you have a lot of technical, physical troubles all the time. It's not like this that you're prepared. All the time you are just lacking something, problems, rain. You have, and so in this kind of behavior, you are natural. And the children watching you in your normal behavior, they like you, they trust you, because you have your troubles, we have our troubles, and but we can somehow play together, yeah? And I think it was the only situation in my family life between me and my son, while I was shooting, that I was somehow closest to him, in sense that I was like I am, yeah, because the camera and this natural behavior with the camera gave me opportunity not to be father, because father always changed voice talking to children, you know, it's like it starts to be different person usually, and I understood it. But with the camera, I even allow him makes more stupid things, because I knew it's good for him. And then I realized that it's okay. It should be like this in his life. Yeah, not only for the film.
And did they allow you to stay with them every time you wanted?
Sorry?
It's me again. Did they allow you to stay with them every time they wanted, or you wanted? Did they send you away time to time?
You mean away to Marcia and Janek?
Yes.
To play? Yes. No, of course I allowed it. They feel free really in this village. It was the not only the film, but the life in this village was for children. It was much better than in the big town in Europe, because they had no extra, you know, how to say. After they finish school at 12, and they have half of the day free, just doing nothing, only, I don't know, fields, river, football, and just meeting other children. Nothing to do. No English, no piano, no tennis, no whatever we have here. Yeah. So it was the good time for them. I think the best. Yeah.
can I ask you, you had only one camera there for videotaping?
I worked with two cameras, Aton and Bolex, Super 16.
So like the interview about the kiosk was taken with the two cameras. When the girl came to your son and talked about the kiosk, the mother didn't agree to have the kiosk. So this scene was videotaped with two cameras.
No,
like
it was one camera. It was one camera.
One camera.
It was actually not videotaped. It was made
filmed.
film stock.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was running just around the table from one side to other side. Yeah. Of course, during the editing, you know, you're filmmakers mostly, so you know that we sometimes cheat. I mean, I take the silent portrait of Janek, listening from another moment, not because otherwise it's impossible with one camera, you know, to edit this scene. So, but for me, the most important thing is to be on the emotional line, emotional true. Follow the true emotions, yeah, not to change in the scene, not to direct emotions, you know. I think for me, this is the difference between fiction and documentary. That in fiction film you direct emotions of the people, and in documentary you can do everything you want. You can ask people doing everything, but you cannot pretend their emotional state, you know. You can pretend they are sad. Ask them, be sad now, or ask them, be happy. Try to love someone, you know, or to show that they are in fiction drama, dramatic situation, fictional dramatic situation. So I think this is for me the border, you know, and that. I am trying not to pass this border, just watching with the camera people, real people, try to catch real emotions, real drama, and of course using different optics, different angles, and editing it. I can create it stronger or hidden, but generally I always keep this emotion as like they are in reality.
You did say that there is a huge difference in between using video and camera with film stock, and whereas with the video camera, you can film almost everything without really thinking about it. But when you are working with film stock, you have to observe situation and then consciously decide in which moment you will start the camera rolling. What are these moments that you start the camera rolling? Can you explain us?
There are few levels, few difference between the filming on video and film. Mainly we are just comparing the picture on the screen, which is better and better on video now, and it can be even similar or even better on video. But the huge difference for me, it's not the final quality of the picture, but the way of working on the film camera. First of all, on film camera you never see your film when you shoot. You see only, you know, the real world with the optical viewfinder, and you need to imagine the film in your head. So you keep till the developing of the negative, till the transfer. You have all the shots only in your head, not on the screen. And on the video, you have, when the moment you shoot, you have it already. You see it, yeah. And I think this is huge advantage of the negative, that you need to have your film in your brain, in your imagination all the time, and you are making this film in head, in fact. So this is, that's what I think is the best for filmmaker, just to make the film in imagination, just to imagine this this film, how it will look somewhere on the editing room, in the editing room. But I was developing every 3 months, more or less, this stock, and I was watching once it in laboratory, and that's all. For shooting 2 years, I had 10 or 9 hours of the film, yeah, during 2 years. So I could have every take in my head, because it wasn't 100 hours. It was 8. In the editing room, I had 8 hours to edit. I shot something between 9 and 10 hours of footage. It allows me to keep every frame, every second of the material in my brain, yeah, and to edit it, to create the story with this short takes. I remember, and also I remember emotional state when I was pushing the camera. This is very important for me. If you feel that it is a good moment you are shooting, it will be good moment on the screen also. And shooting on the digital, sometimes these best moments are covered by the medium moments, let's say, because you just switch the camera and wait with the camera recording, and not always it works. You know, it's like you need to learn from the beginning this filmmaking, how to discover these greatest moments, and on the film you're just watching with your eyes, and you know, it is the moment, yeah. And also some directors says that on the shooting on film you can lose some situations, because on video you can just switch on and you don't lose any good moments. But it's not true, because in fact, first of all, you are more concentrated on film, so you switch the right moment because you are waiting, and with the eyes you see more than on the small screen, and also you see more important. You are creating this film. For example, I was afraid also the moments I need to change the reel in the camera. It's like a few minutes to change the reel. But one day I realized this is the best time, even in very hot situation, that I know that there are escaping some moments. If I put these hands to this, you know, this back to changing the negative, I was just observing with the eyes what's going on and thinking what I really need, because sometimes during the emotional scene you are so involved that you stop to think, yeah, and these moments give you the chance just to rethink, and maybe just to ask your characters just to, I don't know, stop for a while and or just follow, or just rethink the situation. And even if you lose some moments, some reaction or something, you know that it happened. And I think for documentary, it's, and for the film, is the most important is to know what happened in reality, which is strong, what situation was strong, what moments were strong for the characters, important somehow for characters, and then even if you didn't catch it in this moment, you need to think how to recreate it somehow, and this is most important. Just to know what in reality what was important, what was strong. And then with the camera, if you lost it, you can recreate it somehow, or in the editing, or in the next situation, or somehow come back to this place, to this moment. Think how you can recreate it. And I think in shooting on video, you will have maybe everything, but you don't see what is important, because sometimes you can be lost in this amount of footage, amount of events, amount of scenes, and you don't really understand what is more important, what is less important. And that's what I think.
Hello. Well, you nearly partially answered my question, but my question is about the visual side of your films, because very often while you're making documentary, you have this choice between composing a beautiful image, beautiful frame, and catching something that's really important going on. And somehow you manage to combine the two, because apart from very strong emotional impact, your film are visually very beautiful. And if you have like any tips or comments on that, how did you combine like being able to capture the most important things and still present really beautiful images?
I think that the best inspiration for the cameraman is just to you know, the people emotion, people reaction, the situations gives you inspiration. I don't know how to explain it. If you see something which is important for your characters, just you're trying to catch it in your frame in the best possible way. I mean, if you really know what the subject of the take, you know, what is why you shoot this moment. If you really know what is the topic in your frame, you will take out all not needed elements from the frame. You will find the right light for this, the right lens, and that's all. You know, even such very basic tools of cinematography are used to make a good picture for me. The very basic tools for me is the distance from the character, physical distance. Of course, it's if different if you are with your characters like half a meter, yeah, with your lens, 2 meters and 10 meters, yeah, and it gives to the film, to the viewer, different emotional and intellectual message, yeah. And then choosing the right lens, which allows you sometimes to lose background and sometimes to put your character in his background, yeah. And very basic, you know, every photographer and filmmakers knows that it is the fulfilled and the focal length and also the camera movement, yeah. Camera move. It's when you see the footage on the screen, you know, for me, is the scanner of the what cinematographer had in her brain, in his mind while shooting. Yeah, it's like a scanner of your emotion, of your empathy, of your approaching to the story, and if you are really involved, I think I'm working with the camera because I like this moment to be involved in the life of the people, yeah, around me, and somehow if I am not involved, it's if I am not in the story which is interesting for me, in situation, I cannot shoot. I need to be somehow touched by the situation, and then I need to make fast decision how to transform it on the screen. So how to move the camera to discover something, yeah, or to hide something. This is most important. How to play with showing and hiding, And I think the film mostly is hiding, because we are framing, yeah, we are showing only very small part of reality, and we close somehow the imagination of the viewer for all the rest, which is out of frame. But for me, what is most important is what is out of frame somehow, yeah. So we need to not to be too concentrated on what we have in the frame, but what we feel when we see this, yeah. What we see, probably it's something different when we see what we think or what we feel watching. It should be different than what we see, because if it's the same and we see and we hear, and it's like it's reportage, yeah. It's different form of filmmaking, yeah. And but if we see something but we think about something else, that's what I like. So mostly we should hide the most important things, I think.
All right, thank you. And I just have a question. Did you spend like a week or so walking around this this village and trying to like understand the landscape, locations, to learn them, to then later on be able to make a quicker decision about staging your camera and choosing your angle? So, I mean, that before you start shooting, did you spend a quality time looking around your like new filming environment?
Of course, because this is in documentaries the strategy, yeah? how to be accepted in the environment. So you need to decide when you can take camera out. Of course, there are some situations that already are only the one time, like first day of the school, and you need to be with the camera. You are a newcomer, you are second day in this village, and you go with the camera to the crowd of people, you know, they will treat you like, or disturbing person, or I don't know, but you need to make it, yeah. But generally it's good just to be, first of all, just to be accepted by the community. And we are lucky because my wife was working like a teacher. And teacher in the small village, it's of course someone very important. And we suddenly we realized that we became to this reality. We rent a house in the middle, and everybody knew that there is teacher lives there with crazy husband with very old camera. And but they accepted us somehow, and I think the best way is to make the film in such a long-term film is to make kind of exchange, that you give something and you take something, yeah. I couldn't imagine just to shoot this film, just to go there just to shoot the film, yeah. And to came into the life of this family, Marcia's family, and just to take all this documentary stuff and just go, yeah. And it was, for me, it was important to share their life somehow. To also the work of my wife was this kind of thing we can live for this community. They knew that it was important for them. They invite the Polish teacher to this small village, and it was something that I felt better, that we are not only white people coming from Europe just shooting interesting or exotic, poor people. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi. I'm interested in that scene with when Marcia meet his father. And how you prepare his father for that shooting? It's because it's very emotional. And is that first you came with camera, or you talked with him before that?
Father, we met this father once before in the village. He came to village, and we met him like for a couple of hours. So he knew that there is a teacher, a Polish teacher with a husband, filmmaker, and we asked him if we can film Marcia also, and he was okay. But that's all. When we came to his house, he didn't know that we will come with the camera, of course, and he didn't know I will shoot the situation. It was like we're lucky because he was kind of person who is not he has no fear to be behind the camera. Yeah, there are different persons, as you know. Some person some person feels comfortable with the camera, some no. And he was kind of, actor. He is, white skin. So in this region, he was like kind of, better. Let's say, he felt like this, a kind of actor. So he was thinking about himself, that I am filming his family because it's Polish roots. So he had no problem to be behind the camera. Yeah. And this is also we're lucky in that case. But looking for our characters, it's always better to find the person who wants to be filmed somehow, who wants to who accepts the camera and feels comfortable with you. In my experience, if we find the characters which are who are just not feels good with the camera being filming, and it doesn't work in the long term. It just collapses.
Like how did you manage the sound recording in Siberia and in Argentina, and the second one, how did you do the voiceover?
In Siberia, I had the cassette recorder, Sony small one with the microphone, and I just put this microphone, switch on the tape, and close by the situation. It was all no wireless microphones in that time, and so that's why I was using so many voiceover and only background, sound. Ambient sound and not too many dialogues, and also in Siberia I had only 4 hours of the negative, so it was really danger to film dialogues, because if you spend 10 minutes or 15 minutes for some scene, it will be just maybe not footage for the next month. So yeah, it was the decision like this. In Argentina, the voiceover we record during the shooting. Not every day, but every few days I try to catch something. But also we record just after coming back to Poland, one session. But it wasn't very useful. But after the final cut, or after the rough cut, we also record some additional fragments we needed to explain some situations. So it was three moments of recording. But of course, most emotional was this on the place, yeah. And on the Argentinian lesson, it was. We had already a recorder with wireless mics, and if she could, my wife was making the sound. For example, in the scene with the father, she was with me also, and she put quickly the radio mic on him and on Marcia, and she was of course outside, and it was like this. But it's also good experience to work on the film camera. That your sound you have no sound on the picture, so you need to recreate the sound for the film, and it gives you more ideas. Because some scenes, of course, you cannot record the sound at the same moment when you are alone, or just no possibility to keep the mic. So later you come back to this place and you think what can you record to pretend that this is the sound from this place, from this moment. And it is very nice experience also to recreate the sound design for the scenes, and I like it very much because it's different somehow. It's more abstract and interesting.
Do you plan to have a new lesson?
I would love to have new lesson, but I have no idea for now. And also our son is very connected to his place in Warsaw now, and he said till 18 he doesn't want to go, and because he has friends, some sports, hobbies, and
You should make a Polish lesson.
maybe. But somehow it's extremely difficult to shoot for me in my place, because there is so many things which are disturbing. So that I think that's why we decided this lesson makes far away, just to cut the connections with everyday life and just to be fresh.
And how do you work in the editing room? Is it do you have some editing script and you give information, or even images order to the editor, or you are there like in laboratory and you are trying what images works together in final assembly? Or
Usually our method is just to edit the scenes, to make the scenes, and to name it, and then to share it for the then to make the folder with the good takes, also just singular takes, and we start to think what is good for the beginning, what is good for the end, maybe, or during this making the editing the scenes inside, we already have some ideas, yeah, which scenes should be where in the structure of the film. Then we are making the chain, and sometimes in the beginning we make this kind of, you know, how we call it, drabinka in Polish, and this stairway with the names of the scenes, and we just play with this on the paper, you know, and to try to imagine how it will be in the dramaturgy of the film. In the Argentinian lesson, I knew that the breaking point will be the scene with the father, and I was thinking where to put this scene in the film, or it should be in the very end, or it should be in the very beginning, or in the middle. So it was. I think you have always more or less 3-4 scenes most important for the film, and just to decide how they will be in the whole structure, or even 2 scenes. But when you put these most important scenes, then you start to fill these gaps between these scenes, just to have the fluid connections. Then the music, the end, or some sounds, and
how to make a beautiful film about Lech Wałęsa or something in Poland. Like you were explaining that for you it's important to be connected with the characters and that you are trying to make images which will represent the reality and that you work that you like beautiful takes.
Mm-hmm.
How to make what is the method if you are starting to be interested about something and you are trying to develop the style of the film, how you usually work? That's why I wanted to use some hypothetical example of creating something really new.
You know, for me, the film about Lech Wałęsa is not a film for me because I can imagine that his location when I can film his life, it's not interesting. You know, of course, and also this is the public person which is very known and very close to the, you know, he's not the person who will share his life with the filmmaker. Yeah, so the right choice of your character and the place you will shoot is very important. For me, it's extremely important. It's the same like in fiction film. You think about the characters, but you think also about the place where you're gonna shoot it, because the place, location is also the character somehow. Yeah, and if you have great idea to make the film about the corporation, for example, of course it can be strong film, but you will have the white walls, windows, and nothing filmic, yeah, in the background probably, or with this very specific aesthetic, yeah. So you need to find a more sophisticated idea how to shoot it. So a lot of great subjects for documentaries needs to have the very strong formal idea, because the situations are in the very poor visual environment, yeah, and it makes the film weaker, yeah. This is a problem.
Seeing the two films together, I'm a little disappointed that your wife is not so much in the second film. Is that because you, as a clever man, has included her to be part of the film team, or why?
She didn't want. She didn't want. Yeah. She said, no. It's. She suffered a lot after the Siberian Lesson, because we after the first screening for in film studio for some old directors, just to have the first feedback. Yeah. It was Wojciech Staroń and some Polish, you know, yeah, and they start to say, maybe her voice, maybe she's too much, and she was really sad about this, and also see, it was our first film, and she didn't. Never before she didn't watch her face on the screen, big screen, and it was like shocked for her. And she said, "Okay, we can film together next films, but I don't want to be in the like main character." Yeah.
Because I could imagine that there was a strong relationship between her and Marcia.
Yes.
Right. Because Marcia's mother is ill and she hasn't got a real contact. She became
of course, yeah.
But you didn't film that. You didn't want that to be in the film. I'm just asking.
Yeah. In fact, it was one moment only when she was calling to her father and talking with him. But yeah, first of all, she didn't want to be in film, and second, I wanted to concentrate on the children, just Janek and Marcia, and. Of course, if she allows, I would film more. Yeah, I had a couple of scenes with her also in the classrooms. But I don't know. Well, it's a good question, in fact, because in fact there is a strong relation between them, and not always sweet relation. Because Marcia, she has a very strong character also. Yeah, but Gosia, my wife, had also a lot of questions concerning the situation of Marcia. Difficult questions, how to follow this, and should we take Marcia to Poland? And it was like a very difficult moment, and that's true. But probably it would be turned the film for a little bit just from the child perspective to the more to the adult perspective.
Another thing, I mean, you are a director / DOP, cameraman, yeah? And there's 17 years between the two of the films, yes? What did you learn in these years? If you compare them,
yeah.
what did you take?
I'm sure that now I believe more that the image has more information himself. I wanted to explain maybe too much in the first film, story-wise, you know, and also I think that I put too many music in the Siberian Lesson to just to keep the emotional side like hot. But I was like this. I had 22 years making Siberian Lesson, so probably it was. Now I trust more that I see picture even with no dialogues, no music, and I take more. Yeah, I don't need so strong, you know. Push too much. Yeah, I think it's and what else? Of course, I start to work like DOP on fiction films between these two films. So it allows me also to use some tools from the fiction storytelling, yeah. In this in Argentinian Lesson, I used I think I used the kind of rhythm and editing, and I don't know. I think I'm using more documentary style in the fiction films. I'm documentary experience in fictions that the fictions in documentary, because fictions give you not a lot tools for documentary, but somehow the potential of the big screen and the framing and the good light, right light, and good editing. I think this is what we can take from the fiction film.
And in Argentinian Lesson, you are creating a story. Maybe that also comes from your fiction side. I mean,
yes.
What is the story? I mean, the story between the love story between the two. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
The first one it's also very much a love story, but that's between you and but it hasn't got a story like that developing character together.
Yeah. It's true. And the story was till the end of the shooting in Argentina. It was like I didn't know where this story goes, and then during the edit I was looking the right dramaturgy and the right line of not to saying too much, not to go to the side with the story, just goes with the straight line between Janek and Marcia. And I think it's the reality in documentary like this. One thing is reality, and second thing and different thing is the film. because we are using this reality, we are using these situations and this drama of these people. But in fact, the film is not reality. It's something new. And if someone couldn't compare that, and how to explain that, there are time is mixed. I use in my dramaturgy, the film, I mix the chronology of the real situations. I don't mind. The most important for me is the emotional line. And sometimes it's more true that I am even mixing chronology and mixing places. But I know that it's the inner line of the character is right. So this is most important, and this is what I when I am editing, I trying to forget about the reality. I just see the pictures. I see here she's going from left to right in this town, and the next day I can take from the other town because she's also going from left to right, and I can follow in the edit with this, yeah. And she has the same kind of inner tension, so I can use it like in the same place, the same moment, even if it's a few months later, yeah. That's what I think, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a very specific film because you couldn't show one of the main protagonists, mm-hmm. and
one of the hardest film I ever.
Yeah, and I was very curious because this case makes me think a lot how you prepare during the research phase with your director, if you are already DOP on the project. If you can maybe say that on this, explain that on this example.
You know, we in documentary you cannot to be too prepared. Of course, it's you need to be prepared what film you should. Yeah, I mean, what's going on with your characters, to meet them, just to see them. This is the preparation, just to hear what they are, how they are. But from the cinematographer side, I was using natural locations for this film, but we were really we must not to have the faces in the frame mostly, especially one of them, and it was very difficult because usually our documentaries are based on the face, yeah. So we are thinking how to create an interesting image, not showing the faces. It was difficult. So I think in most of the places you just looking for the right angle, right light, right position, your camera position, the right distance with the character. And even with the small things, changes, you can achieve the right powerful picture. I think, just not to think too much. I think just not to be too prepared, because in documentary this freshness helps you also to discover. I mean, I am always saying that camera should have personality. Yeah, I like the films that I feel that camera has concrete personality, and in documentary, if you are involved, the cameraman is involved in the situation, the story, and the lives. It gives you just the small moves, and it gives you the right framings, and just following the right movements, right details, and that's all.
The
thing about film and video, I mean, you talk so passionate about that film is so much better, yeah? And now you are filming on video, yes? Is the reason financing? Is it because there are no more laboratories or what is the reason? Because you had such a low ratio on both films. Was it 4 hours and 9 hours, huh?
Yeah.
And so a lot of things must be cheaper in a way. I mean, if you talk about financing, that if you have 200 hours, which is crazy. So why?
The last thing, after Argentinian Lesson, I did one of my own films, which I am finishing now. But I started this film in 2007 with no fundings, and I starting it on some HDV camera, and then changing for next generation digital cameras. But I discovered it. First of all, I couldn't start on the negative with no funds, and second, I discovered the archive footage of my characters, which was shot on 16 and 8 millimeters, which is kind of it has quite a lot place in this film. It will be like difference also between my video stuff and this old footage shot on the 8 and 16 mil. So it was not bad. I think that we, of course, I would prefer to shoot it on film, and also I have much more difficulties during the editing this film on video. Too many choices, too many versions. On film, it's quicker. So it was like this, but I'm dreaming about the next film on the negative also. But it's more complicated now. Of course, there are cameras that are cheap now, but the negative, for example, is not sold in Poland, 16 at least. You need to order it in England probably now. And it's more complicated. The laboratories are not so good because they are not developing all the time. So it's more complicated.
Well, if you don't have any questions, we can wrap it up. If you have something else to say.
Just thank you. It's a very nice meeting.